So you haven't been changing the thermostat, right? So why is your bill skyrocketing? You know what? You're not the only one who's noticed a difference here. So we have our energy expert here, Joe Brettell with Prosody Consulting. What is going on? Because we're not doing anything different, but the bills are really getting, in some cases, like uncontrollable.
Yes. Good morning, Lena. Always great to be with you. What you're seeing is the highest growth in demand for electricity since the end of World War II.
Oh my gosh.
We are using more power, we are demanding more power. Part of it is that we are in the midst of the greatest infrastructure build out for energy in decades. And like we've talked about before, look, the demand for power was sort of static for 12 years. We didn't build any electric infrastructure in that time because your local utility always has to go to their regulatory board and say, here's what we want to do, here's what it's going to cost customers, and get it approved. They didn't do it because because demand wasn't going up. Now demand has skyrocketed thanks to the installation of data centers, greater domestic manufacturing, and just we're using more electricity. So now what's happening is that you have sort of this gap between the infrastructure that has been built and the demand that's there to use it.
Supply demand, the typical, right? Your basic economy
right.
question. But here's the thing though, bills are getting to the point where a lot of people are getting their electricity turned off because they can't pay the bill.
That's correct. So you have a really interesting Washington Post story last week saying that up to 14 million Americans spent yesterday without power. And this is an issue, Lena, that is being faced not only in the United States, but around the world. This demand for power, the subsequent rise in power. So I think there's a couple of things that need to be understood. Number one, data centers are not necessarily the issue here. What you have is skyrocketing demand and a network, a utility infrastructure that isn't necessarily ready for that demand. And so it causes prices to go up. Now, you've had things like the capacity agreements that some of the tech companies have agreed to where they are willing to pay for the infrastructure. You have situations like just a couple of weeks ago, our local company Chevron and Exxon both said they're willing to step in and help build some of that infrastructure, but it's going to take time. And that's one of the big issues. So what can be done? I think that ultimately both the utilities as well as governments as well as all key AI stakeholders need to understand this is the key moment where they need to interact with the communities, begin to put money into the situation and have a real conversation about what needs to be done in order to help people who are losing their power.
Thank you so much. So again, to point out, it is not just you, right? The price is going up just across the board here. So we're going to have to do what we can to kind of curb that and stave it off. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure.